Hi you guys, it's Lynnea for Penguin Palace, and first of all, I want to apologize for my scritchy, scratchy voice. It might still be officially summer, but where I live we've had I think it's nice weather in the 60s, but it's kind of chilly compared to the 90s that we had last week, so I've come down with a bit of a cold. But I still wanted to create one or two more cards for the summer. So I have the Summer Sunshine stamp set from Penguin Palace. I picked out a bunch of the cute little images and I stamped them with some alcohol marker friendly ink. And I'm just going to go ahead and color in these cute little images. So I'm using today Ohuhu alcohol markers, and I'm doing simple color blending. These images are small, which is great for me because I'm not so good at coloring and at blending. So for most of the images, I can use two colors of alcohol markers. I'll use a dark and a light and just blend them together to give some depth and dimension. And as I'm coloring, I am trying to keep the colors the same throughout all my images. So the little girl's eating some watermelon, so I'm going to use some pink in almost all of the images. And then I wanted to create the little girl blonde, so I'm going to pull in some of that brownish yellow throughout all the images. And then I have the other little girl has brown hair, so I'm going to use those same browns to color in the cat. And keeping these colors the same makes it look like they're all supposed to go together on one card. And it just kind of creates a more cohesive scene. Today I'm going to be using a die that has like 4 little rectangles, and so it's kind of like a scene, but not really. I don't really love to create scene cards. They kind of stress me out a little bit. So when I create scenes, they're super simple, and I love dies like this that kind of do the work for you, and you can create just kind of little pocket scenes rather than a full-blown scene. So I'm snipping apart the dies, and I usually edit this part out, but I had people question, and they asked me questions about how I cut apart my dies. So I just have little wire snips, and I just go right in. They have fine points on them, and I just cut apart the little tabs on the dies, and then I can position them over top of my images and adhere them down with some purple tape or some washi tape and run them through my die cut machine. So once I have all of these little images all cut out, I looked at the colors that I used to color them, and I picked out some distress inks that I thought went with those colors. So I'm going to be using some worn lipstick, fossilized amber, stormy sky, and twisted citron. And I'm using my blender brushes, and I'm just going to blend on some of this ink so that the concentration of ink is at the bottom of my little rectangle. And I will blend that up towards the top to create just a gradient of color, keeping the dark at the bottom and the light at the top. And so once I have all of them done, I'm coming in with my Distress spray bottle and just spritzing on a bit of water. And then I'm just going to pick up that water with a dry towel. And then once I have that done, I kind of arranged all of my little images onto the rectangles and just planned out where I wanted them to be. And I did end up going back and coloring and cutting more of the clouds. I originally had the clouds in 3 of my little rectangles here, and I thought that it would look more cohesive if I added clouds into every rectangle, and that way it would kind of look like they all go together. I'm using liquid glue on all of the little images in the background, like the clouds and the sun and everything. And then I'll go ahead and use some foam squares on the larger images, on the tree, the girls, and the cat, to pop them up and give them just a little bit of dimension. And so I will just stick those down there, and then I'm going to use liquid glue to adhere the frame as well as all those little rectangles to my card. And so they will be flat. The only dimension is going to be just the little girls and the cat and such that have some foam tape behind them. I stamped a sentiment onto a strip of white cardstock, and it says Summer Sunkissed, it says. And there's a little heart at the end, so I colored that in with some of the pink markers that I used on my images. I'm going to come in here with a little bit of glitter with my Spectrum Noir glitter pen on the little accessories, and that is going to complete my card. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye!